All right, let's jump right in and take a look at the tech world as of late October 2025. When you look at the big stories happening today, it's kind of weird. It's like we're seeing two completely different narratives playing out at the exact same time. And this really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you have this massive AI gold rush. I mean, we're talking record breaking investments, incredible hype. But on the other side, the harsh reality of layoffs just keeps rolling on, with companies cutting costs and trimming their teams. So, how can both of these things be happening at once?
That really is the big question for us today, isn't it? What is the real story here? Is tech booming or is it busting? Well, the truth is probably a bit of both. So let's unpack these two very different sides of the coin.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the excitement. We're going to look at that first narrative, the one about incredible forward looking hype and massive, massive investment. And yeah, you guessed it, this story is pretty much all about AI. Right now, all eyes are glued to the tech giants. Your Microsofts, Alphabets, and Metas of the world. Investors are waiting on the edge of their seats for their earnings reports. But here's the thing, they're not just looking at the numbers. They're listening for any little hint about their AI plans. That's how much power the AI story has. What they might do tomorrow is driving their value today. And here is a perfect example of just how sensitive the market is. Luminar Technologies, a company in the autonomous driving space, saw its stock jump by about a third. And get this, it was just in anticipation of an update. They hadn't even said anything yet. It just goes to show you how hungry the market is for any sign of progress in AI. And the amount of money pouring into this space, it's just staggering. Take Crusoe Energy Systems. They just pulled in $1.38 billion. A billion! All to build out AI data centers. This just proves that huge amounts of cash are flowing into the absolute bedrock, the fundamental infrastructure of AI, even when the wider economy feels a bit shaky. And it's not just about the big infrastructure guys either. Really specialized companies like Fall AI, which works on multimodal AI, are also getting handed huge checks. In this case, $250 million. It's clear that the big bets are being placed all up and down the AI ecosystem. This isn't just a venture capital and startup game. This trend is absolutely global, and it's happening at every single level. We're even seeing massive sovereign projects like Saudi Arabia's New Murabba development, planning their own huge investments in tech. The scale is just off the charts. So, it's easy to get blinded by that bright AI spotlight, right? But it's worth taking a step back and asking, where is all this tech actually making a difference? Let's look beyond the hype and see how technology is quietly changing some huge industries in the real world right now. A great example is India's Unified Payments Interface, or UPI. It's on track to absolutely smash its monthly transaction record. We're talking over 28 lakh crore rupees. Now, to put that into perspective, that's hundreds of billions of US dollars in a single month. It's an incredible demonstration of how digital infrastructure is fundamentally rewiring a major global economy. And this kind of innovation is popping up in places you might not even think about. At a recent conference, we saw these massive trucks decked out with smart tire management tech and advanced safety systems. It's a great reminder that major tech adoption isn't just about our phones and laptops, it's transforming heavy industries like logistics too. Okay, so we've got the AI hype and the huge investments on one side, and then this quiet, practical scaling happening on the other. But now we have to face that contradiction we started with. How do we square all this good news with the fact that people are still losing their jobs? Well, there's a business term for what's going on, and it's economic rationalization. Basically, it's when companies restructure themselves to get more efficient. And here's the critical part. That often means cutting jobs in one area so they can free up money to go all in on another. Like, say, AI. So in a strange way, one trend might actually be fueling the other. And this table really brings the whole story into focus. You can see the split so clearly. Capital is gushing into these very specific hot areas like AI infrastructure and fintech. And at the exact same time, job cuts are happening across the board in the wider tech and media sectors. It's literally two different realities coexisting in the same industry. So, after all that, what does this actually mean for you? Well, for this last part, let's try to move past the headlines and think about how you can make sense of these clashing stories for yourself. So first, just think for a second about everything we've touched on. The AI gold rush, the huge scale of digital payments in India, the tough job market. Out of all of that, which piece of the puzzle really stands out to you? Which one feels most relevant to your world, and why? And for the next one, a bit of self-reflection. We all have our own biases and assumptions, right? Maybe you catch yourself thinking, AI is going to solve everything. Or maybe, oh, these layoffs are just a temporary thing. It's really interesting to just notice the mental shortcuts or masks we wear when we look at the world of tech. And finally, let's end on this thought. If you had to pick one of these stories to follow more closely from here on out, whether it's fintech's future, the build-out of AI infrastructure, or the state of the tech job market, which one would you choose? And what are you hoping you might learn from watching that story unfold? It's a really complex and contradictory time, for sure, and the next chapter is still being written.